Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, exciting news. Exciting news indeed. 180 billion with a B ready to enter the market. That's how much cash is sitting on the side right now in stable coins. But imagine the rest of it. The rest that's still sitting on the sideline that is waiting to enter. So today I have some good news to share about Bitcoin and crypto overall. Some very positive news. And of course, give you a little update on what's going on around the world. And also a little update on the Fed too. So smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's my second stream of the day. Hopefully you guys have been tuning in my market open ones. I think I share a different perspective on those streams, even though it's, I still relate it back to crypto, but I give more of my own opinion about other things that's non-crypto related. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it and tuning in, but let's get back to business. So Bitcoin is a little bit higher right now, 38.4, which is very positive. So we've been straddling this new support slash resistance around 38.5. But what we really need to get back to is this 42.7. That would be fantastic. But step in the right direction. You could see why this is important. This point, this 38.5, you could see that, it was briefly over here, support. Then turn resistance many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And more than that if you look at the small little dips here and there. But we crawled above. We're holding above. And unfortunately, we couldn't hold. And now we're right at that point. So this is actually a pretty important resistance to break and utilize as a support. And then we can break back up to 42.7 again, right? Can happen. However, there is still a lot of uncertainty and fear and doubt out there, right? And I've been showing you guys or sharing with you guys what those are. So I'm going to give you a little update on those. But right now, you can see that the market, the U.S. market is red, unfortunately. This morning it opened up green, but was heading down. And I'm like, this could be one of those days where it's kind of like a fake out. It starts out good and then it ends up bad. That's kind of what's happening right now, even though the indexes are kind of near zero at this point. Dow is barely down, but NASDAQ, including the likes of like Tesla, is really selling off right now. There's still a lot of tech that's being sold. This morning I covered a story about hedge funds and how hedge funds are just liquidating all tech that they have right now, right? It kind of includes Bitcoin. Well, they threw Bitcoin in there. It's not like Bitcoin. It's just that they threw that in there. But, a lot of the FUD that still exists, mostly right now, the major FUD is Ukraine, and it looks like Ukrainian banks and government websites were just attacked by some major DDoS attack, which shut down a lot of these entities, the banks and the government websites. So you know what? This was actually something that Biden talked about. Like he was saying how Putin and Russia was following a playbook, right? And one of the first things that Russia would try to do is to do a cyber attack before a full-on invasion. So is this a coincidence? Is this part of that? Part of the playbook Biden was talking about? We don't know. I mean, no disaster came from this. It's just that a lot of banking sites and websites went down, right? And of course, Russia is denying they had any involvement, but is this related? Maybe. So that's the latest. That's the latest with this. But of course, there's been many other things that's been happening, right? I covered most of those things this morning, so I'm not going to cover it again. If you're curious, then watch my earlier stream, only from 3 hours ago. But this is the latest on top of everything else that's been happening, all right? So we have this that's causing FUD. What else is causing FUD? Well, of course, the Fed. And, the Fed is going to have a meeting next week. Not next week, next month. And they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. because there's a lot of good stuff happening, a lot of bad stuff happening. They have to be very careful in terms of the rates, the rate hikes, how many times, the percentages. So according to this, which is trying to estimate the basis points of the first hike, is it going to be 25 basis points? Right now, it's looking like it. I don't know how they came up with these percentages, but 74% says that most likely it's going to be 25 basis points. And 26% will be most likely 50 basis points, which at one point in time, was thought that that was a sure thing. Now it has turned back to 25 basis points. And then, who knows? Even if it's 25 basis points, which isn't all that bad come March, but how many times will it go up within the year? Because JP Morgan recently came out and said it'll be as high as nine times. 9 rate hikes of 25 basis points. You do the math, that's over 2%. It's 2.25%, which, if you look at history, would be unheard of, unprecedented. Like over 1% means it's really drastic. And there's, even though that 1% seems like it's insignificant 1%, that could throw the economy into a death spiral, into recession. But then again, what is the Fed going to do about inflation, right? Inflation keeps getting higher. And then now you got geopolitical stuff you have to worry about, right? And the labor force and high gas prices. I mean, it's all things that Chair Powell has to consider. So I don't envy him. It's not going to be an easy job, right? So here's a headline that talks about, well, what if, this conflict with Russia and Ukraine and U.S. and high oil prices, high gas fees and sanctions and all this stuff, right? How is this going to affect Powell's decision? It's going to. I just don't know how, what he's going to do. But it is something that's of course on his mind. And I've talked about inflation. Take a look at this. The number of U.S. cities with an average home price of $1 million tripled last year. Tripled. Average home price of $1 million plus. How many of you guys watching right now is living in a home that is worth more than $1 million? This sounds so high to me. But then again, home prices have been going up so much. In fact, over 20% last year alone, gaining $7 trillion in 2021 in value. And rent has caught up too, 20% year to year, right? I do think the next bubble that will pop, that will come down, is housing and real estate, especially the rate hikes going up. It's going to bring everything down. It's like tremendously crazy right now. But yeah, a lot of it is due to inflation. So, of course, all this is adding up to uncertainty, fear, and doubt, FUD, right? We got a lot of it. So we got this to look forward to next month. So strap on and get ready, right? All right. Now, besides these things, I think we have, I don't know if this is positive news, okay, but it relates to the cash sitting on the sidelines. You guys have heard of this executive order issued by President Biden in terms of getting all the pieces, I guess, all the entities under the U.S. government, like the SEC, like the Treasury, the CFTC, and all branches that control money within the U.S. They were tasked to come up with and evaluate crypto and come up with some kind of strategy, right? But Janet Yellen is fighting back because she believes that, stable coins and CBDCs should not be together. Because right now, what Biden is doing is placing them together, saying, okay, we need to look at stable coins, which includes the digital dollar. And Janet Yellen's like, no, it should not include the digital dollar, because the digital dollar is something that we're going to control, right? So we don't need to put it into the same category as stable coins from third party. So there's been some pushback. So I don't know if this is good or bad, but this is the reason why we haven't heard much about the executive order, because of this pushback. So again, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but just thought it's relevant to talk about because you don't really hear about Janet Yellen pushing back on anything these days. So there you go. Now, in terms of executive order, that has also caused some FUD. Kind of died down over the last few weeks because of Russia. But yeah, this is another source of FUD. We don't know if the US government is trying to be really strict and clamp down on crypto, or they go, still let innovation fly. We don't know at this point, right? So there's a lot of guessing over this executive order. So we'll have to wait and see when this is actually implemented. But I mean, there's bigger words at this point, so this might not be something that we're going to hear about for quite some time until all the geopolitical stuff ends first, right? So there you go. There's that. What else is there? I need a drink of water. Hold on. Man, I'm losing my voice for some reason. Maybe because of this morning. Unfortunately, Bitcoin just fell down a little bit more, 38. I mean, the market is starting to turn red, so this could be the reason why. I mentioned this morning about, the market could turn. We're certainly not out of this cloud of uncertainty that I've been talking about, right? Because there's just a lot of stuff going on. But the strategy doesn't change. Continue to hodl, continue to stay strong, DCA, and take advantage of the golden opportunities. And there are many out there, right? Now, something that relates to what I just said and about golden opportunities and about having cash on the side is this. The total stablecoin supply hits 180 billion. 180 billion. Okay, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money sitting in stablecoins right now. Now, how stablecoins work is this. If you spend it, it's supposed to be destroyed. It's supposed to be burned. But the reason why it's not burned is because usually someone else will take it away from the exchanges from you. But if there's actually no buyers of stablecoins, they should be actually burned. But the fact that we have 180 billion that's not burned shows that's just how much people are holding because they're scared. Right? They panic sold or they're just building up a cash position on the side to take advantage of the dip. That's a tremendous amount of money. Tremendous amount of money. And imagine when all this flows back into the market, how much it will pump everything up. I mean, the entire crypto market cap has fallen quite a lot from its peak, right? And many crypto is down 50, 60%. But when this amount comes back in full force, it's definitely going to drive things higher, right? So this is very positive news. Well, not short term. Long term, yes, very positive. And this is just with stablecoins. Think about all the money that's actually sitting on the sidelines that's outside of stablecoins, right? That the Wall Street has built up by selling off their tech and Bitcoin and crypto. They have probably trillions on the sidelines, right? Imagine that flowing in. And we have more reason to believe it will because of everything that's going on with adoption, with the growing fundamentals, and with countries that are becoming more and more and more pro-Bitcoin. And we have another one today that I'll talk about. So there's a lot of goodness and a lot of money waiting to come back in. Yes. All right. Let's see. What else is there? Well, speaking of stable coins, right? Out of the 180 billion USDC, which is the second largest right now, they're about to become the largest pretty soon. They keep growing because USDT still has a lot of uncertainty. Well, they're launching Circle, who's the creator of USDC, and Coinbase. It's a joint partnership. They're launching a new account service that's aimed to help businesses transact in cryptocurrencies, potentially opening the door to wider mainstream adoption, and will allow clients to deposit, withdraw, receive, and store crypto, and have everything settled in USDC. So this is going to help increase adoption in the future, right? So this is very positive. But of course, what is the executive order going to say about this? So that's what all these entities and branches are supposed to come up with, right? How to properly regulate and track crypto. And I think this actually definitely falls into that, in terms of what they're looking at. So right now, this is looking like it's pretty darn good, right? Businesses will be able to do more business utilizing stablecoins like USDC. And is this going to impede against the digital dollar? Well, we'll have to see. Now, their biggest competitor, of course, is Tether. And Tether Reserves has always been under question, right? Now, they released their latest audit. This is part of an agreement settlement with the New York Attorney General's office. So they have slashed their commercial paper holdings by about 21%, but there's still a large amount. That's the thing about Tether. Even though they claim they are now one-to-one backed, much of it is in commercial paper, which they don't tell you. These are junk bonds basically from companies, like from which companies, right? And if those companies are going down, are those commercial paper really worth, what they originally bought it at, right? So there's a lot of questions. They don't give out this information. It's not backed one-to-one. And there's a lot of other things that they're holding that are not fiat currency. So that's why this controversy around USDT is just not going away, because you just don't know. There's just a lot of stuff you don't know, right? But hopefully this gets resolved with the executive order, and hopefully, one of the requirements is for stablecoin producers to actually hold everything in fiat, in USD, right? Because if it's supposed to be backed one-to-one to USD, then they should hold one-to-one USD, right? And not in other things that represent it. So one of the good things that could come out of this. And I mentioned yesterday, this is very, very unique. Luna, of course, you guys know about Terra. Luna Foundation, they sold $1 billion worth of Luna, and then they used that to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they're going to use that to partially back UST stablecoin. UST is not a collateralized backed stablecoin like USDT and USDC. This is an algorithmic backed stablecoin, but it will be partially backed now by Bitcoin. So as Bitcoin grows in value, right, the percentage backed will actually increase over time. So this is actually very smart, and ultimately it makes a lot of sense. If the purpose of a stablecoin is to utilize a digital crypto, right, that's supposed to replace fiat currency, why would you make the stablecoin backed by a fiat currency? You wouldn't want to, right? So in this case, you're making it backed by Bitcoin, which makes a whole lot of sense. So this is, I think, it's pretty positive overall for Terra and overall for crypto in general. All right. James says, I love Trudeau. I don't think many will agree with you on that. All right, last two things that's pretty positive. El Salvador, they're selling their Volcano bonds basically to mine Bitcoin using volcano energy, which is basically free, right? They already have 500 million in verbal commitments with 5 billion more that could follow. The interest in Bitcoin is high. Very, very, very high. So that's almost, well, let's just assume that this 5 billion that could follow is going to come most likely. I mean, that's close to $6 billion of bonds sold. Not only is it great for El Salvador, but it's great for Bitcoin overall. Shows you how much money is out there, sidelines I mentioned, that wants to enter back in. Not only to just buy Bitcoin directly, but also to help grow the network and continue to mine going forward. So positive stuff. And I mentioned about countries, right? Not only El Salvador, many others have decided to join in on the fun. Now, Mexico may be the next one. So there is a Mexican senator that is proposing a law to make Bitcoin as legal tender, following the same footsteps as El Salvador, right? So a lot of Latin American countries have been looking at this and evaluating whether or not they should do the same thing. So there's a lot of countries that have very, very bad cases of inflation, hyperinflation. There's a lot of things going on, right? So they're looking into it. But now you have a big country that's right under our border, Mexico, that may be looking at making it legal Tango 2. And the country above us, I'm talking about those of us in the U.S., is also giving a strong case to adopt Bitcoin and crypto as well right now. So I'm not going to go more into that, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And lastly, Shiba fans rejoice because there's going to be a massive Shibaverse land sale that's coming up. 99,000 land plots will be sold for the upcoming Shiberse. So get ready. Unfortunately, you can't use Shib to buy it. You have to use Leash, which is another token that Shib offers. And you can use that to buy land in Shiberse, which could be really big. Their NFTs did really well, so Shiberse could definitely do very well too. Maybe. But this is good news for Shib, that's for sure. Right? So this is something that Doge does not do. Shib is trying to legitimize themselves by getting into the metaverse, offering NFTs, offering a swap, right? Coming out to layer 2. They're doing all the things that other L1s are doing, right? Like Polygon and Solana and Avalanche. They're going the same route. So this is making them a lot more attractive besides being just a meme coin, right? This is something that Doge and others are not doing. So good for Shib. Good for Shib. All right. That's pretty much it. I'm losing my voice very, very quickly. Unfortunately, it looks like Bitcoin has turned down a little bit from its high of 39.4 this morning. So it's around 38,000, right? Still higher than last night when I streamed. Overall, though, we're going to see, short term, we're going to see volatility. We're going to see some up and downs, right? That there's no doubt about it. Just like over here, we saw some up and downs, but when in doubt, zoom out. All of the problems that we are facing right now with inflation, with geopolitics, with economic turmoil, right? With everything that we're seeing right now, the answer is Bitcoin. The answer is Bitcoin, right? So when in doubt, zoom out and realize that Bitcoin is the best asset to hold and is the solution to all these problems. But you just have to get through the volatile times, and there has been many over the last few years and over the last 12 years, right? But Bitcoin is the answer. And so is crypto overall. All right, let's do some Q&A. Hello. All right. Reality Rhino. I don't really have a whole bunch of nice cars. I'm trying to build a collection, but right now I don't have a whole lot. I have a few nice ones. I have a Model S Plaid, which is really nice. It's in storage right now. I bought a nice SUV, a Mercedes GLS 580, which I mostly bought for tax deduction purpose, but it's a nice big SUV. It's really nice. And I have a few cars on order, but that's about it. I don't have a whole, garage full of nice cars. At least not yet. All right, making sure. Let me scroll through here. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Harper says USDT is fishy. I do agree with that. Helium is a future. I think it's the same person I mentioned both. Yeah. A lot of talk about Prime Minister Trudeau. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat what was said about him. But he is bringing the crypto community together, that's for sure, and shining light on on Bitcoin and the need for a decentralized network that can't be, stopped or can't be confiscated or can't be muted, I guess. All right. George is huge in a Shiberse. I am not. I am not. But I may buy a plot of land or two. Forget Disneyland. Go to Shiberse. Can you start uploading a stream to podcasts on Spotify again? I don't know. It wasn't doing too well before. It takes a lot of work to do that. So I may be doing that. I may not be, to be honest. It was a lot of work, and then there was a whole process, and then it broke, and I just couldn't figure it out. But yeah. Do I do my tax myself? No, I don't anymore. I used to. I did it all these years until last year. It's just too complicated now. Please warn everyone about my CoinTainer scam. I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Do you have any info on why Luna pumped a few minutes ago? No, and you know what? You shouldn't care. You shouldn't care why it pumped up a few minutes ago. You should care about why Luna has been holding very well and why is one of the greatest gainers in 2021. Because this relationship between Luna, Terra, and then their new Bitcoin-backed UST, right? That's a big thing. And I covered all that last night, so I did do a video last night, kind of explaining what's been going on with UST, and I think that had a big impact on Luna today. At what price target do you think Terra is a good buying price right now? I mean, here's the thing, and I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but this morning when I just started, we were like, or at least one person was like, "Oh, what's an attractive buy today because everything's up?" And I'm like, are you serious? Even though today there's some green, and that's good. Like Terra's up 15% today, but you got to look at how much things have come down. Even with Terra being at 61, well, it's still off from its 103 high, and most things are still off like 30, 40%. Right, some 50%. So there's a lot of buying opportunities. But don't try to time the bottom. No one knows. That's the problem with almost everyone in this space, or at least everyone new in this space. Trying to figure out, oh, this is the exact point I will buy. You'll never figure it out. That's why DCA is truly the way to go. Right now, with things being down the way they are, right, buying a little bit is not a bad idea. It's a good buying opportunity, right? There's a lot of opportunities out there. But if we go down a little more, okay, then buy some more. Set a schedule for yourself. The point in DCA is to take the guessing out of the game. And you want to stick with the schedule that you can stick with for a long haul. And you could do DCA multiple ways. You could do it by schedule, like a time schedule, like once a week, once every 2 weeks, once every month, and stick with it. Or you could do by percentage. If things are down 10%, buy a little bit. Things are down to 10%, again, buy a little bit, right? You could do it like that. So you could base it on a percentage drop or by time. And there's many exchanges that actually offer those tools. I shouldn't say many, some do. Some do. Like I know my partner Vauld, which is giving great rates right now, but they also allow you to trade and they can set DCA for you. Based on what I just said too, right? So there's a lot of ways to do that. So, I mean, stop trying to time bottom and stop trying to time top either. So it goes both ways. DCA over long haul, right? Or buy the dips. And then on the way top, once we start forming some new highs, well, then you set a same schedule for profit taking. So it's kind of both ways. Let's see. Tony, George, you're the best professor ever. I appreciate that. I do. At what point do we enter a bear market? I don't know. L2, Shiba's turning to L2. They're trying to be, and I think they're doing a good job. I don't know when we enter a bear market. My definition of bear market is different. From a technical standpoint, a 20% drop is a bear market, right? But a 20% drop or increase with crypto can come in a single week. So if you're looking at a technical definition, we could be entering a bear market and a bull market multiple times within a month. So that's not what I look at, right? I look at the metrics and I look at the fundamentals. Have they changed? Have they turned negative? Have they turned bearish? That's what I'm looking at. And the answers to those questions are no. None of those things have turned bearish. So I still maintain we're not in a bear market, though a lot of people claim we are, right? But yeah, I guess the official technical definition of bear market is anything under 20%. But again, you know what? Like for example, Terra, right? Terra's almost up 20% in a single day. So does that mean if it hits 20%, Terra is technically back in a bull market? And then next week it could be back in a bear market, and the next week it'll be back in a bull market? I mean, you can't apply that to crypto. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, you know? Marissa, appreciate that. Any thoughts on Pocket Network? Provides decentralized RBC relays for dApps. Think decentralized infrastructure, AWS. I don't know too much about the project. Decentralized infrastructure, AWS. There's a lot of projects like that already. They're basically decentralized cloud, right? It sounds like that's what they are. But there's a lot of projects that's in that space already. Still trying to figure it out early, very early. Mostly used to just be nodes or, nodes of projects that you could stake in. But there's many, of course, other use cases, but they're just so early right now. What are your top cryptos, RSI, top 100? Ask me that tonight. You know, tonight I'll probably go more into some of the crypto. So if you haven't figured out my schedule, this is how usually, because now I'm streaming 3 a day, at least for the time being. So morning market opens, more stock related, macroeconomic, geopolitical stuff, and just overall thoughts outside of crypto. This one is more meant for a little bit of those things, and then more, of course, geared towards overall bigger picture type things with Bitcoin and crypto. The night stream is more specific into the crypto projects. So that's kind of how I'm structuring the 3 streams, right? So in case you wanted to know. Love from India. In times like this, I tune to you. Bless you. I've learned everything from you since June 2021. Well, I'm glad to hear that. You know, I've said this 100 times. There will be up and downs. I've lived through so many up and downs and bear markets and bull markets and rallies and dumps over the last, 5 years in crypto. Even longer if you count that I got in 2013 with mining. But also with the stock market too. Been through 3 different recessions now, and I've seen it all, right? The only true strategy is to hold. You hold on to the good ones, and that's the only true strategy, right? But in between, there's going to be a lot of up and downs, right? A lot of FUD, a lot of fear, and panic selling never leads to good stuff. And if you want to make money with investments, you want to take advantage when other people are fearful. When there's a lot of fear out, when there's a lot of fear, right? That's when you want to pounce on the opportunities. That's how you make money, right? And that's what I'm here to help you guys get through. So, all right, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Let's see if things can turn around. Bitcoin's still trying to remember this 38.5 I drew out. You know, this is a hard support here, or hard resistance. So let's see if we can break above and hold. But the overall market is starting to turn red. Again, still a lot of uncertainty at this point. So we'll see where we end up tonight. All right. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.